Object-oriented programming is how you model real-world things in code. A car, a user, a neural network layer. These can all be represented as objects. In this episode, we go line by line through classes, methods, inheritance, and the core ideas that make OOP one of the most powerful tools in Python. A class is a blueprint. An object is something built from that blueprint. Here, we define a class called dog, using the class keyword followed by the name and a colon. The pass keyword means the class body is empty for now. We then create two instances by calling dog with parentheses, exactly like calling a function. Both dog1 and dog2 are dog objects, but they are completely separate instances in memory. Comparing them returns false because they are not the same object. The init method is a special method that Python calls automatically every time you create a new object. It sets up the initial state of that object. The double underscores on both sides mark it as a special Python method. The first parameter is always self, which refers to the specific object being created. The remaining parameters are the values you pass in when creating the object. Here, self.name equals name stores the passed-in name onto the object itself. Each object gets its own separate copy of these values. There are two types of variables in a class. A class variable is defined directly inside the class body, outside any method. It is shared by every instance of that class. Changing it affects all objects. An instance variable is defined inside the init method using self. Each object gets its own separate copy. Here, species is a class variable shared by all dogs. Name is an instance variable unique to each dog. Dog1 has the name Rex, and dog2 has the name Bella. Methods are functions defined inside a class. They always take self as the first parameter. Self gives the method access to the object's own data. Here, the bark method uses self.name to reference the specific dog's name. The fetch method takes an additional parameter called item. When calling a method, you do not pass self manually. Python handles that automatically. You only pass the extra arguments like the string ball in the fetch call. Inheritance lets one class take on the attributes and methods of another. The class that is inherited from is called the parent class or base class. The class that inherits is called the child class. To inherit, write the parent class name inside parentheses after the child class name. Here, dog inherits from animal. Even though dog has no methods of its own, it can use the speak method from animal. This avoids duplicating code across related classes. Method overriding lets a child class replace a method it inherited from the parent with its own version. Here, animal has a speak method that prints a generic sound. Dog overrides it with a bark, and cat overrides it with a meow. When you call speak on a dog object, Python uses the dog version, not the animal version. Each class can have its own unique behavior while still sharing the same structure. This is one of the key benefits of inheritance. The super function lets you call a method from the parent class inside the child class. This is most commonly used in the init method. Here, dog has its own init that accepts both name and breed. Instead of duplicating the name setup logic, we call super.init with name, which runs the animal init and sets self.name. Then, we add self.breed. On top of that, this keeps the parent's logic intact while extending it in the child. Dunder methods, short for double underscore methods. It will let you customize how Python's built-in functions behave with your objects. The string dunder method controls what print outputs when you pass an object to it. Without it, Python prints something like object at memory address, which is not helpful. The length dunder method controls what the len function returns for your object. Here, we define it to return the dog's age. Defining these methods makes your classes behave naturally with Python's built-in tools. You now understand object-oriented programming in Python. Classes as blueprints, init to set up objects, instance, and class variables. Methods with self, inheritance, method overriding, super, and dunder methods. In the next episode, we cover file handling and error management. If this helped you, hit subscribe so you do not miss the rest of the series.